Three, two, one. Do I have energy for this? Hey, what's happening, Larry? How are you?
Man, I'm great. I missed you.
It's been a
It's been a minute.
while. Oh, we have an echo,
That
maybe?
was me. As
Got
soon as
it?
it pops on, I got to mute it real quick. Anyway.
Uh, so we do this spoiler show and we cover Disney Plus shows very kind of systematically.
Mm-hmm.
It turned out to be the focal point of this show. What we like to watch, what we're big Marvel fans, and I know there's other stuff out there. So when Doc shows up, I'll be like, "Sorry, Doc, I didn't watch Hitman Monkey yet. It's on Hulu." We did cover Invincible though, so
Mm-hmm.
that was tough too because it was like adult content almost.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but yeah, thanks Larry for mentioning that. It's been a month or at least a month
Uh-huh.
since the end of What If, right? So we covered.
And all we had in the meantime was Eternals, which was kind of not worth talking about.
Yeah.
I just saw it last night for the first time.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
let's start. Yeah, let's start
We
with
can
the
talk a
Eternals
little bit
talk.
about that. Yeah.
If you're fresh in
Under,
on Eternals, that's
I was
cool.
underwhelmed. Um, yeah, it did not do much for me at all. And I really, really, really want to support, Marvel Studios. And I just had that set in my hand today, looking at it, going, this is
I didn't.
so overpriced for what you're getting.
Yeah, I put this in my cart when I don't know, for the gift with purchase stuff. I just kind of caved in and got the the Christmas thing
Oh yeah, uh-huh,
and the tin, and I ordered the Batman set with the Riddler. I was like, I need that, and I needed these characters to get all the
Mhm.
characters and the cool pieces.
Yeah,
And
you gotta. I mean, it's like you buy that set for the minifigures, and that's it, because nothing else is worth
I,
it.
I think after seeing the movie, the scenes with the ship and you could do a nano scale
Hmm.
of this
Hmm.
ship under a Babylon Garden, like hanging garden thing.
You know, what's funny? I was totally thinking that as I saw that city. I'm like, this would be a sweet castle to make in Lego. You know,
Yeah.
do all the hanging gardens. I mean, that would be really cool.
It's a world wonder. So somebody's got to do it. It's one of those things where because that movie was mediocre, I guess I was entertained, but it's definitely not. So I saw 4 movies this year, and it was Black Widow and Shang-Chi and the Eternals and Ghostbusters.
See, I haven't seen Ghostbusters because my wife was working, and it was just me and my son, and I'm like, it was Saturday night. I'm like, seriously, I will stay home and I'm gonna be playing Xbox if I don't get out of the house and go do something. I'm like, so son, do you wanna play Xbox or you wanna go see a movie? And he's like, let's go to a movie. I'm like, thank God, let's get out of the house. And so we went to go see it because I'm like, I have to go see it at some
Yeah.
point. Uh,
So yeah, first impressions. I mean, cast, well, pretty good.
yeah.
I
Hmm.
like, really liked um some of the stuff they did with the documentary, like the guy filming,
Yeah.
a little comedy relief, character, the speedster with the hearing disability, and we'll talk about that with Clint Barton
Hmm.
during Hawkeye here. I'm glad they're bringing things like that. Like, not only are they diversifying their cast, but they're talking about issues here and there. So,
Yeah.
what was one thing you really liked about Eternals?
Boy, that's a tough question. I don't know if I have an answer to that one. Um,
Well, you just saw it, so you're a little fresher than me. I
I'm
saw
very
it opening.
fresh on it,
I might have thought the Monday of that weekend. I'm not sure.
thought a lot about it, and I kid you not, I was nodding. I was starting to nod off in the theater during the action scene at the end.
Oh no.
I mean, that's how uh, it was. It was just kind of ho hum. I mean, it's like the best part about it was Kit Harington for me. I'm like, but they did nothing with it. They only alluded briefly
Did you stay for the end credits?
the blood. Well, I saw. Is there more than just the one?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. So
Okay. Yeah, my son was like, "We got to go." I'm like, "Yeah."
which one you saw the mid credits then? Which one is that?
That was
Kid
the one where they
Harington?
introduced Star Fox.
Oh, that was Harry Styles.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was pretty good, actually. I mean,
That was very interesting, and I'm like, "There's a whole lot in this little bitty scene. That's
you're
great."
gonna pick a god of love that jokes
Arrows,
around
yeah.
and probably will have a musical number of some comical variety, and yeah, I'm sure he's on some sort of sexy teenager list, being a pop star. I thought that was a pretty, and his hair is kind of wild already, so they didn't like really Star Fox it,
Yeah.
but I think that was hopefully good casting. We'll see how he acts.
I think, and he very much looked the part.
Right.
Unlike the Eternals, where they totally redid all their costumes. I mean, and they retroed a lot of them, and fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Gotta make it contemporary.
Yeah.
Because the Eternals. Okay, you know what I really I had an. Did you watch Inhumans?
Yes.
It gave me such an Inhumans vibe.
Yeah.
It was like
It's hard to care for them. Like, and this director, this Oscar winning
yeah,
director, was supposed to be this family oriented, like it's gonna really hit the heart or something. And it didn't really, yeah, it was because they're so cosmic. Didn't really make too much sense from her angle, I think.
well, there was a lot that didn't make sense because if you're going to explain the creation of the universe story and do it in that the Marvel canon, which they don't really talk about a lot. It's really, I mean, that's a huge topic. I mean, that's a huge, because you're going against all major religious theologies, and you're trying to sell this idea that
Yeah, they start with Darwinism, right?
I
And
know.
right away in the movie,
Yeah.
like the hint with evolution and all these things. And I
Yeah.
was like, whoa.
I honestly, there's so many different ways you can go, especially with Star Fox. You can get into the, because I want to say, you talk about like Nova, and you talk about the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then there was like the Shi'ar Empire with the X-Men,
Mhm.
and the Scott Summers' dad, Corsair, and the what was his group called? This was all in the X-Men with shoot, slipped my mind.
Not X-Force.
Not X-Force. No. This was pre X-Force.
Because Cable's like a generation of
yeah. Well, he's a son of.
Okay, so you're going the other way. You're going the other way. I'm not sure.
Scott Summers, but Scott Summers' dad, Scott and Alex Summers' dad, is the Starjammers. Starjammers, that's what it was. So the Starjammers was another group like the Guardians of the Galaxy, although they were more under because again, Corsair, he was kind of like the space pirate guy, and he was Scott and Alex's dad. So you've got all these other groups that are out there, and they oftentimes will delve into things like the Eternals and the Celestials and all of that. But to try and sell that idea, you better have a much better movie, because when they were the big reveal at the end that they're basically like androids. Hey, Troy, they're androids. Nice icon you got there, Troy. That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll get to Hawkeye in a sec. If you haven't watched Eternals, we're going to spoil Eternals. Here, Larry just watched it. So, I like, it's hard. It's a tough subject, all that evolution and AI. I usually like AI stories, though. So I kind of like that twist that they were made for a purpose. and then
I,
erased their memory and all this stuff,
mhm.
and they
I mean,
just
great story, but if you're going to introduce this into the mainline MCU, when they're going to be talking about them, they're going to go off on the multiverse and stuff. You're just like, okay, you better have a plan because you're getting complicated. And
yeah. Well, it's a cosmic plan. We'll see how it goes.
so
We're
there,
just
so there
gonna.
was a second end credit.
So yeah, before we switch subjects, I will spoil the end credit.
That's fine.
If you stay to the very very end, you do get a payoff with Kit Harington. He has the sword. Here, there is a box that
Ah,
is
shit.
very ornate,
Yeah.
and it's on his desk in his like museum atmosphere, like he just got it shipped or got it out of storage because it's like inherited to him, right, or something.
Hmm.
Well, he's looking into his family lineage in the movie. He's like, yeah, my family actually is a little more complicated than I thought.
Right.
So I think this is, it's new to him, so he hasn't touched the blade. But so he almost touches the blade, and it's very smoky and black, and it has like a mummy wrapping, like a kind of it's just looks ancient, right?
Yeah.
And he almost touches it, and you hear a voice, and the voice says, "Are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure you want to do that, Dane Whitman?" And it's the voice of Mahershala uh, Blade, the new Blade guy.
Oh, no kidding.
Mahershala,
Yeah, yeah,
I can't say it right now.
yeah. Because he was
Ali,
in.
Mahershala Ali or something like that, or
Was he?
he was in Luke Cage.
That's what it was. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That guy. Yeah.
So Blade is telling Dane Whitman, "Be careful about that sword." So when you
Really?
see, yeah, so the big teaser at that end credits scene is that are we going to see vampires and like medieval sword fighting with Dane and the Black Sword and Moon Knight? I think all mixed
Hmm.
into its own little
That would be. Oh, dude, that's
sub.
that. See, those smaller characters, I love a lot. Like Daredevil. Hey, Ivan. You
What's up,
know,
Ivan? Thanks
uh,
for checking in.
and the Defenders and some of those guys. They're not the big names, but it's great they're bringing them in. So, all right, cool. Well, that's enough Eternals talk. Let's talk
Yeah.
Hawkeye.
All right. So the big topic for our show is Hawkeye, and they have this cool matte fraction artwork, and I leaked my favorite scene here, but this is basically where the story starts, right?
Hmm.
They go 2012 to the Avenger Battle of New York with the Shatari, and I mean they start with Kate Bishop in this 10-year-old form, playing with her trophies or whatnot, but the parents are arguing, blah 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 blah. The main thing is though they like tie her story arc into witnessing Hawkeye, do
Yeah,
this superhero move on the building.
I thought that was just awesome, and I love how you got to see those scenes from a different angle. You got to see the Chitauri flying back and forth, in front of her windows. Um, great, great retro scening.
Yeah, the perspective from a civilian, like
Yeah.
albeit very wealthy penthouse civilian in New York City, but that's kind of part of the story, I think, too. Is they've got some money, so then they're going to have some shady business deals. I think that can get into a little later with the Bishop family, but fantastic perspective of this young girl seeing a Hawkeye and saying, "I want a bow and arrow."
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that was at her dad's funeral. She's like, "I need a bow and arrow."
yeah. So during this battle, we don't see it. So here's where we can pull the string. Here's the first string to pull, theorize. It's 2012. The buildings crumbling around this penthouse. Is it Eleanor and Derek or something. The mom and dad of Kate were arguing,
Mm-hmm.
not too intensely, but they had a little fight, and she was listening in. And then this battle starts happening. How do we think the dad really died?
That's a very good question because the mom is a very interesting character. Hey, um, and I say that because of her reaction when the explosion happens at the gala. When I
Yeah.
watched it the second time, I was just I at first I didn't even notice her reaction, but the second time I'm like, she's not surprised at all. So this woman she's going to be definitely involved. You know, so I invited Mike to come, at least come in the chat because I needed his expertise with the Hawkeye comic book story and how that's going to parallel what's going on.
Nice.
And specifically Kate Bishop's mother.
We have 6 people watching. Maybe Mike's out there. Come say hi, Mike, in
Say
the
hi,
chat.
Mike.
Yeah. So I go ahead and pull that string with, so, one easy theory that they're not showing you, they just didn't show how the dad died.
Right.
So
because mom and dad were not answering when she's, Mom, Dad, where are you? Where are you?
You can easily assume, the building collapsed and he just accidentally died. So we're pulling a string that the only other person there was the mother figure, and Eleanor Bishop, I believe it is, could be more notorious and got rid of a loose end of they were kind of breaking up and moving and financial troubles or whatnot. And I mean, there's some more like death and inheritance hints in this show.
Yeah.
Hey, Grit the Bricks here also. He's on mute, but yeah, thanks for checking in. Who else is here? Eva? Everyone. Okay. Thanks guys for tuning in the chat. We're up to 7 now. That's cool. I'm a little under the weather, so if I'm low energy, I'm sorry, but this show starts off like at its high point for me, and it kind of just we go through character development. I get it. Well, let's say. So, is there more to say before with that funeral and that thread? Do you want to mention the name?
Not
Madam Mask.
I thought it was very interesting the way that they caught you up and gave you the entire history of Kate Bishop in an animated montage during the credits.
Yes. So hey,
it was very. I thought it was very interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen a show do that, but it's like, okay, so you got caught up. So she decided, okay, I'm going to be an archer. I'm going to be a gymnast. I'm going to be a martial artist. And it shows where she fails and she's cocky and all in animation,
yeah. Speaking of animated talk, Agents of Mock's little bow and arrow thing. And we had some nice little banter with some arrow puns.
Stud Sidious and Dude Jude. What's up, guys?
So yeah, that's the next thing. They do so it's the premiere episode. They dropped 2 at once, but basically each show had its own different credit thing in the beginning and at the end, I believe. Yeah. So we see the 10-year-old Kate, and we see her grow up through the beginning credits of the first episode. And Get the Brick says how many? I think there's 6 episodes, and we get 2 right away. So this story is going to be pretty fast, I think, from here. So we got all the characters set up. We get the credit scene giving us more backstory, if you will, of Kate going from 10 to 20-ish. There's some hints that this is about 20, basically present day. So 2022 or 21. And she's in college. So the next scene we see is the bell tower scene.
Which was interesting because it's kind of a non-scene. I mean, I really don't know what the point of that whole scene was, other than she kind of gets in trouble, and you get to see her archery skill. But you saw it 100 times in all the previews, and you thought it was going to be important when it ends up not being important at all. So,
yeah.
For those of you in the chat, just so you're aware, the title of this show is the Superhero Spoiler Stream. So it's in the name. We're not going to say there are spoilers ahead. We are going to spoil them. Just so you know.
What is Mayo saying? I'm not going to spoil anything because I don't want to. Maybe he says we're not going to because he doesn't watch this stuff. So whatever.
Okay. Well, welcome.
And not a huge Hawkeye fan, but yeah, I mean, who is? So there, that's kind of the
I was.
Yeah,
I remember. So I was around when the West Coast Avengers became, the first issue of West Coast Avengers hit the newsstand, and the Hawkeye and Mockingbird limited series, and that's kind of when I fell in love with Hawkeye. I thought he was really, really cool. I always thought his costume was ridiculous because I would draw all these comic book guys. It's like between I don't know who had bigger wings on their cowl, Wolverine or Hawkeye. But anyway, I was a huge Hawkeye fan. I always thought he was a very, very interesting dynamic to the Avengers. I think he played out very differently in the comics than he does in the cinematic universe, which is then they kind of bring that back into the comics and try and kind of change him after the fact. But I think he's a very interesting character because he's just a regular guy who's an archer.
Yeah, that's a good angle. I like it when there are those realistic type of superheroes where you think you could put yourself in that role because you don't have to be from Krypton or something. So Hawkeye is the topic. Well, we have two Hawkeyes. We have Kate Bishop Hawkeye and we have Clint Barton Hawkeye. And Hawkeye in general is just, he's not trying to make a big name of himself. Part of this discussion in their dialogue is his branding.
All right. So for whatever reason, Mike can't comment in the chat. He's new to the internet. Bear with him.
He might not have if you don't have
he did give us a little nugget of information here. So the stepfather, who is gone.
Yes.
He's the swordsman in Marvel Comics. He is a character, the swordsman in Marvel Comics.
His name is the stepfather. Yeah, we haven't gotten to him yet, but
right.
He's.
We were asking about is he dead or not, and is he gone? Well, the swordsman was a character in the Avengers comics who died, if I'm not mistaken.
In the comics they do a role reversal. We're talking about maybe the mom pushed the dad off the ledge, right? And so in Kate Bishop's comic book history, the father lives and the mom dies. And I believe he's hinting at that the father is the sword, or a different father is the swordsman. I don't know. There's some twists here in the MCU version, because there's the other Jack fellow that is courting the mother figure, and
I'm sorry, the stepfather, they're not married yet, they're getting married. Jack, the stepfather, the guy who takes Ronin's sword, he's the swordsman, not the dad who is dead.
Yes, we're getting there, Mike. We're getting there. We're gonna take our time. We haven't done this for a while. We went through the ringing the bell tower, and we can't skip right over the one of the other funny scenes in the movie. The musical.
Oh my God.
We got to talk about Rogers the musical.
They
Um,
took. I hated this scene. I hated it because they took one of my very favorite lines of all the MCU movies and turned it into a song.
oh yeah.
Broadway
Well,
musical, and I
that's
just
what musicals kind of do. They got to sing about, that whatever the hot line is.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
I
that they
can do this
ruined
all day.
it. I don't know that they ruined it.
For me, they did because that was my. So the Captain America: The First Avenger, one of my favorite MCU movies, because it really, really establishes who Captain America is, and why how he was Captain America before he was a hero before he took this super soldier
Steve
suit.
Rogers, yeah.
Yeah, Steve
Say it
Rogers
how he
was
did
the hero,
without singing.
and so
Oh,
his
Ed Sheeran's
line
got it.
was yeah, there we go. I can do this all day.
I could do
When
this
I first
all
heard that, I'm like,
with a
yeah,
little breath in there when he's got the garbage
yeah,
can lid.
I can do
I
this
could
all
do
day.
this
Yeah,
all day.
and then I loved how they refreshed it, later on in the movies. But I like musicals except for all that singing and dancing.
Yeah, well, we can gloss over it. Yeah, I was just amused. I think it's just there for a funny factor.
Hmm.
Please do not do the musical and ruin some of our characters by joking about how pretty boy Steve and Thor and
Hmm.
Iron Man are, and then throw and it's got to be. I think so. I don't know what else they're doing, but making fun of themselves by putting Ant-Man in there, and he was not there.
Yeah, to me, it was just kind of like, okay, we're going to show how clueless we are about this whole thing, but
But it was part of the gag.
it's
So
part of the yeah.
it's a gag, and it doesn't stop there really. But before we get to the next kind of interesting note, well, it's interesting. Clint's reaction is on par too. This sucks. I'm going to turn my hearing aid off. I don't want to listen to this. I was there. This is not how it happened. And he has a little PTSD, I believe, watching Black Widow and Natasha on stage with their whole, sacrifice for the Soul Stone angle.
So yeah, I so that they introduced, and that was just kind of a fun thing that you do see every once in a while on a bus bench or whatever. You'll see again the musical thing, an ad for the Broadway show.
Yeah.
So then you when I watched it the second time, I was thinking, okay, this is where it reminded me of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Is Dad gonna get home for the holidays? So
Yeah.
here's my hope. I hope they don't make it where the superhero saves the day, but he can't get home in time for Christmas.
Yeah.
I hate that trope so much. It's like he needs to be the hero to save the day and save the family holiday. That's my opinion.
Spider-Man on Broadway. Well, let's move on. There's a piece of graffiti in an interesting corner of the movie.
Hmm.
We get you do not see bathrooms in general in movies very often.
Nope.
But we get a men's urinal scene here, which is kind of
Especially
funny
from over
again.
the shoulder. The over the shoulder at the urinal cam.
Yeah,
Very
I
often.
mean, yeah, that's a funny angle right there.
Uh-huh.
Like that's you looking it down. And who would like you always see graffiti, weird stuff on the wall or whatever in bathrooms. Even at this like orchestra hall, Broadway shows,
Sure.
I guess. Um, just kind of poking at Clint and humanizing him, I think just a reminder, that he fought Thanos, and here he is just taking his family to a play, and they're joking around about it. They're joking around about the city of New York fight anyway.
Yeah, and I did think the guy asking him for a selfie, as they're at the urinals was. It's kind of like insult to injury for Clint, after having to endure the show, and this guy is like, and he's like, yeah, this is not really an appropriate time.
Yeah. So you're in a bathroom with like 12 urinals, and he walks right to the one next to you. Only if you came together does that happen with your bro.
Yeah.
And this guy is over the top cringe. He's like, hey, how about a selfie? Like, come on, dude. Inappropriate. He's like, inappropriate time. And then he's washing his hands. He's like, how about now? I'm like, come on. So I like that they do a little bit of celebrity play, they're also walking down the street, and the superheroes are doing their little selfie pictures with they're just acting. What do you call them? Just street actors, I guess. They're not, I mean, kind of like street performers, but they're
Yeah,
just,
have you ever been to like the Hollywood Strip
right.
by the Chinese theater? They got those people are all over the place. Yeah.
See if I can find one. So there's some attention to that. It's interesting and a little slow, right? We haven't done much other than that bell tower falling apart. At the same time, they're getting through this play. Kate is walking from Grand Central Station, talking to her mom on the phone, going towards a penthouse, and she ends up, knowing the doorman and everything. So she visits regularly, but does her own thing and wins awards. She's got like another medal for something. And but her mom knows she ruined this bell tower. It's like, hey, what you're grounded.
Yeah, she's gotta buy it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Your credit card's cut off because you cost probably thousands and thousands of dollars ruining this clock tower. And they have a discussion about being rich and young and invincible, and how she did not have both of those things. So the mother is hinting again. We've got a little bit of a, and I know if Mike's out there, Madam Mask storyline that the mother character might have a secret identity or shenanigans with her business, at least.
Definitely.
And so then we get introduced to Jack, so we can talk about all these. So we can talk about the swordsman angle. Also, there's a sword that the mother and daughter are having a conversation, and all of a sudden, what's the sword doing on the table?
Right.
And
things have changed around here, she says.
There's a boyfriend for her, and they're engaged. Little does she know, and he apparently has some swordsman skills.
I do like the actress that plays mom. I think she did a great job.
Yes. Yeah, she's in a couple of things. Wasn't she she was, we won't go on tangents, but she plays like she doesn't play like that very homely character, right? She's got some secrets. But
she has this secret society air about her.
Haley is super cute. Good casting there. And Jack is like, I've got my beard, but I'm not twirling my mustache. He's like the evil character I think we're supposed to fall for.
Okay, so Mike's on the chat finally figured out how the internet works. So the comic consultant, that's Bonds. That's Mike. So, I forgot about that. That's right. So the swordsman trained Hawkeye. So yeah, we're out of order.
Hawkeye Clint or Kate?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I thought he was an older character, right? And because Kate is basically fangirling over Hawkeye and learns from him. They just they're developing their relationship right now, and she's already a good archer and fantastic acrobat and gutsy. So we'll theorize about the swordsman. There's a sword on the table, and there's a sword at this auction. We'll get there really quick here. If I can just do the timeline. They're at, let's see. So before we skip over it, the Barton family has the Chinese dinner. They get a little comp pass because he's an Avenger. No big deal there. Just more Barton family development. I don't know that they're going to do anything with the 3 kids. The 2 sons. Can you believe how one is like super tall?
Yeah, seriously. Last time you saw the little one, he was in the womb. You know,
so they must be the same actors.
First introduced to him when he's in the room, but then he's the little kid in.
I think they're the same actors, and they just like, whoa, one of them grew like 3 feet, and the other one didn't. I guess.
Well, what's her little name?
Because they were all.
Girl, it's exactly like a Russo. I mean, it's like she's a spitting image of a Russo.
They all got blipped.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, let's blip somebody onto the stream here. We have a guest from another universe.
Hey! Uh-oh.
Hey!
Oh man, show's ruined.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Where have you been? I was waiting for you. I needed your input.
Okay, well, the one thing that drives me crazy, or I just don't get, I'm like, didn't Hawkeye train his daughter to shoot a bow? Who was this Kate? Who's Kate Bishop? I was like, so that's why I was kind of like, who's this Kate Bishop character? What? You know, because I never followed Hawkeye, you know, all that much. So I was kind of like,
yeah.
I know there are multiple archers in the DC side. I thought there was just Hawkeye was basically the only archer, but you know, there's Kate Bishop. There's like 3 archers or something now in Marvel or something. So that's why I'm just kind of like, who is this? Why are we following this girl? I'm just like, so like, who's going to take the mantle of Hawkeye? As you know, I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
So
I don't think you know, they picked some actors to play his family, and maybe they just didn't. I don't know. They took some other angles. I mean, Kate Bishop is a different name, right? So in the comics, it's not his daughter. So
right.
You can just call that a twist where they, you know, a lead up, and they changed it on,
right? Because I don't think he had a family in the comics. I don't recall him ever. I mean, because he got together with Mockingbird. That was always Hawkeye and Mockingbird. So I'm just kind of like, they never had a kid, and you know, so now
it's a couple of friendly Hayes from Red Carnage and Dude Jude, and
hey,
oh no.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I almost made a video about all of the DC shows we're not covering.
That could be a whole other. There's so much content out there. I knew you were going to say it.
I had to.
We did cover a little bit of Eternals before Hawkeye. So
yeah, and you missed it. We can't go back, but I wanted to get your input. Maybe post show I'll ask you a couple questions.
Okay.
So Mike says in the Ultimate series, Hawkeye had a family, but that sounds like, I mean, that was kind of like more of a retcon story,
right? Well, that means I don't know. I almost kind of feel like the Marvel universe is more toward the Ultimate universe and less toward the comic book universe. Just because that, you know, that other universe, they tried to make things more realistic-y, whereas the comic universe is like, you could just do whatever the hell you want to, and I could be the Thing, and all I have to do is put on a hat and a trench coat, and I can walk down the street and nobody notices that I'm the Thing. You know, that's comic books. Whereas the Ultimate universe, you couldn't get away with something like that. People will be like, hey, yeah, isn't that a Rocky guy in a trench coat? you know, or Captain America could put his shield on his back and then put a coat over it, and his back looks like his back, not like a shield.
Right.
You know, so it's like the whole MCU takes place more in like the, you know, in that other universe, because Nick Fury's black too, you know, so it's like it kind of nods to that universe, I think, more than the comic books.
Yeah. Well,
but I'm just, but do you guys think
modern day twist too, right? So
do you think that guy's Kraven the Hunter?
No, we're thinking this guy's the swordsman, like a new twist, like a modern, because he's collecting swords. They're also setting us up for pulling the rug up.
Okay, yeah, because the Purple Swordsman originally was a villain dude, yeah.
So they do like a fence, you know, they have the fencing scene, they have the sword, he tries to buy the sword, and then we haven't gotten there yet, but you know, Armand the third gets killed by a sword. So
Right.
they're setting us up that person, and we don't see it again. You know, here's another character where they don't, you know, it's a mystery. That person's dead. We know it was a sword, but we don't know what sword. The weapon wasn't left there. Was it the Ronin retractable sword that they had at the black market auction, or something else? And who was holding that sword?
Right. That's just like, I was just kind of like, rich man doesn't have any security cameras. Come on.
Right.
Like, there was footage of his murder. Okay. The third.
Well, and I don't know. I'm thinking it's too obvious that it's gonna be Nick, because I mean, he had the butterscotch. I mean, it's like, no. I mean, any good mystery story,
Right.
you're gonna
That
get
was
those
another setup.
obvious clues that are gonna be nothing but red herrings in the end.
Right. Well, just like,
Yeah.
because they have that stupid, the tracksuit gang and some of the other stupid gangs that they mentioned to the thing. The only other thought
Bro,
comes to my mind is
not about the tracksuit game.
okay.
No.
Well, the only other thing that, you know, comes to my mind is like, they're showing us the gangs of New York. Who's running all the gangs? This is our chance to introduce a kingpin into the MCU. You know, and it doesn't have to be some big fat bald man. It could be this guy, right? You know,
I think it's levels of
with
that,
the
right?
mustache.
Let's talk about levels of the villains. We have the tracksuit gang, bro, and we have Echo, which is the character they introduced at the end of episode 2, I think. So we'll have to get through a little more dialogue, but and then who's put? You know, she was on the scene as they were interrogating them. So who's above her? Is it Wilson Fisk? Is it
the Fixer? You know, it's just like there's a million. If you read comic books and, you know, Hell's Kitchen in New York, there's so many multi-level bad guys that it could be. You could just be another suited guy too, and it just could be like, oh dang, it's, you know, Justin Hammer or something. He's pulling this, you know, it's just another businessman of some sort.
So we're at this party, and there's a black market. She looks like a waitress. I like how Kate walks in a black tuxedo.
And after Mom asked her to put the dress on, she's like, nope, I'm going with the black tuxedo, not the red dress.
Right, because I don't like that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But she's also, I find her very unlikable. And she argues points without, like when she was fighting him and like yelling about the lying, it's just like, please explain what it is that you're saying that he's lying about, instead of just yelling, you're a liar, / You know, I'm just kind of like, if you would articulate more, people might understand where you're coming from and you'd have less angst. It's just like, she drives me crazy. I'm like, I'm not liking her.
I thought she was very, so after, and we're skipping ahead a little bit, but this is just
it's after the party
story, more with her character. When she gets home with the dog in the Ronin suit, she seemed very Peter Parker to me. She's like, the rapid talking to herself is very much the Tom Holland Peter Parker character.
Well, she's 22, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's get back to the party because some stuff went down.
Yeah. So
do you guys remember the last time you saw Armand, the actor who plays Armand?
No.
He was Captain Compost in Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls.
Well, I'm sure he's been in something else besides.
Probably. I haven't seen him in anything besides that. It was probably like on Boston Legal or something, or some show that I never watched.
But he's always playing a pompous rich
guy from Ace Ventura.
So he's Armand the Third, and there's 7 of them apparently.
Yeah, we met the 7th too.
They're setting this family up for this, you know, high society. You know, Armand the Third. He spoils the wedding plans and forces Kate to confront her mother about that, and she's got to go out for air, and that's where we see Pizza Dog for the first time, which is kind of cool.
Didn't he look one-eyed? I thought he was going to be a one-eyed dog.
He did one-eyed. I was just going to ask that. Did they find a one-eyed dog actor, or did they give him makeup?
Or CGI'd.
Yeah, he's a one-eyed dog. Because I was looking for it. I was like, yep, sure enough, he's got one eye.
He's like, cool. I was like Nick Fury. Nick Fury.
I like it. You know, it's I mean, you gotta. He's gonna be like a standalone character on here. He'll save the day. So, well, he kind of,
Me too. Cross the flirkin.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, not the Monopoly guy, Mike. That was the guy at the party. And you must be the Monopoly guy. No, it's not that guy. It's the main bad guy. And that explains the abrasion on your palm. That guy.
Oh, okay. So at the black market auction, well, Jack is there and Armand is there. He sits next to them to kind of spite him and jab him as they counterbid each other for this Ronin sword. Kate finds her way down there via waitress outfit. She's already dressed the part. She just grabs a tray and goes down there. And they get to after a 2.7 million dino skull, which
do you think that was a nod to the hidden Savage Land, or just an antique they stole from some museum somewhere? That's why you couldn't display it anywhere.
I mean, deep cut nod to Savage Land, a cool Marvel story that they did with all the characters in Dino Land. Why not? But they got to show some stuff that they joke around is on the black market. Don't say where you got it. They have Avenger compound merchandise. So we have the sword, we have the suit, and there's a watch.
Yes, whose watch?
Yeah, it's
what is the watch? What's the watch? What's the watch?
It's like the only character that's had a watch that was of any importance wasn't that Iron Man, that watch that his father gave him. Or did Cap have a watch?
I mean, Iron Man has always had that. It could be an Iron Man watch where he's got the nanotech in there. And,
that's what I'm thinking. That's probably too on the nose and obvious. So I'm wondering,
right?
Really,
I think it's more like it's somebody's heirloom or some kind of a thing. It's more or something's inside it. Not like it's some sort of nanotech, but like you open it up and like, oh look, there's the secret map. The secret map to some sort of thing.
By the way, that's not a retractable sword. That's a bunch of crap. I was like, what? Come on.
It's Stark nanotech.
No.
Bro. All right. So I'm finding the watch here. Oh God, I got it. So it is a deep cut. Mike might know what Avenger issue 268 is. It looks reddish, but it's just kind of a glow off of the
right. It looks like something from the 90s, 80s or 90s. So I'm just wondering.
Could be Howard Stark watch.
Yeah.
So it's only the only thing I can think of is there's got to be something. There's something secret about it. It's not just a watch. It opens up, like you said, Doc, or it's nanotech, or it's something.
Yeah, well, just like now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I was like, the mother is so femme fatale. I'm just kind of like, she could be a villain too. She could easily be Madame Mask or somebody. Easily.
So we have a time travel to a timepiece angle from Mike, the comic consultant. Avenger 268 is the first Kang council, I guess. So there's a Kang reference there.
Well, Kang has something to do with time, right?
Yeah, because there's a watch, because Immortus is the master of time, and Kang that's his main weapon is to travel in time. So yeah, it could be all leading to something. Because I don't feel like there's going to be some big cosmic bad in this at the end of this or some kind of a thing, but there might be a clue to make you go, "Oh crap!" This somehow links to the previous. Like the WandaVision, or this links to Captain America, or it's going to link up.
This definitely has more of a
Eternal
Falcon and Winter Soldier feel to it than.
Well, yeah, we have a down to earth fighting, Black Widow feel to it, with some super serum a little bit, maybe, but and we know Yelena is after Hawkeye, so after 6 episodes, I'm hoping basically the end credit scene, if they don't cover it in episode 6, is Yelena finding Clint, and after they solve whatever hijinks through this episode, Hawkeye becomes or maybe she goes after her to hurt him, and then who knows when they cover that next.
Okay, because I was like, all of them, like we've seen so far, like WandaVision was all about Wanda becoming the Scarlet Witch, and Falcon and Winter Soldier was all about Falcon becoming Captain America. What is Hawkeye going? Is he going into retirement? Is this all about him creating his successor, Kate Bishop, so she can go into the new movies and then he's done? I mean, because they all transformed at the end.
Well, yeah. I mean,
You know what I mean?
we need to build up. We need to build, not build up, but build the Young Avengers. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Good night, Ivan.
Well, let's get through this episode. We're almost done. And then we have another episode. So we got to talk about Kate putting the Ronin suit on and taking out these bros.
Bro, they crack me up. I love them. They're so
these guys, bro. I don't know, but the joke that they always say, bro, is pretty funny.
The Russian.
Yeah, in the Russian, bro, in the Russian accent. Yo, bro.
Exactly. We captured you.
Yeah,
bro.
Those Slavic types in their tracksuits.
I'm interrogating you.
So they're after the watch. One of the guy finds the watch, and then Pizza Dog comes in and bites his leg, and Kate's saving the dog a little bit there. The dog runs into traffic. She saves the dog. People catch it on their cameras. And
what happened to the watch?
That's what I wanted to know. Because then it was like, dog eat it?
I didn't know if the dog actually had the watch or if he was just going after that guy.
I thought he was just
going after that guy.
That's what I thought too. He was just biting that guy because he was bad.
Yeah, like, hey, where's the pizza? So we don't know there. We can speculate. Maybe it'll come back. I'm sure we'll see the watch again. Let's see here. There's so she makes the news.
Later, Mike.
And, Hawkeye Ronin has a little flashback when he sees the Ronin suit on the news. He's watching it with his family. They're like, "Whoa, look at this ninja saves the dog! Awesome!" But it doesn't work out because she takes the dog back to her apartment, feeds the dog pizza, and immediately uses her phone app with Bishop's security to trace Armand down and go break into his place because of all the shenanigans at the black market auction.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of convenient. She could pretty much track anybody she wanted, but whatever.
Yeah, I think they're just, convenient and like shady. Like, you should not have a device that like can triangulate people's phones and stuff, as she uses later. So they're setting Bishop's security up for like not the greatest, Anyway, we have our second death, I guess, because she finds Armand dead, killed by a sword wound, and she flees the scene and gets caught again on camera, fleeing the scene and trying to be a pro, but she's definitely learning the hard way, because the tracksuit bros catch up to her and attack her, and then that's where Clint comes in to save the day, and we get finally, as the title of the episode supposedly is, "Never Meet Your Heroes," her meeting her hero.
But other thing, now that I think about it, it's just kind of like, how did the tracksuit bros conveniently come across her? Are they using the same Bishop track? Are they using the same tracking software because they're working for the mother or whoever the father, stepfather, or whatever? Because I'm just kind of like, I almost feel like they're trying to like create her to be a patsy without her realizing that because they're like tracking her movements, and I don't know. It's very, 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 very shady. All of it is very shady.
Because I think you had joined after I had said this, but the second time I watched it, I noticed the mother's reaction to the explosion at the gala when the Russians broke in. She's probably like, right on time. She barely reacted. She was like looking around. She was not surprised. She was looking around at other people's reactions. She was not surprised. She knows the Russians.
And then when Jack comes up, like, he's got a little dust on.
A little too obvious.
She's just like, "Are you all right?" Like, not really. Like, maybe she was hoping he wasn't all right. I don't.
Yeah.
Well, either that, or I feel like they're in on it together.
Yeah, they definitely could be a team.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Trying to marry into the money and then kill the uncle off.
Yeah.
And gain some wealth out of it. And maybe some more empire. Who knows what products or whatnot the Armand family is involved with.
Well, yeah, I just figured that the two of them met at some shady underworld nightclub, and we're like, we should merge our two, fledgling empires of evil. And they're like, good blood, yeah.
Yeah, she totally has that secret society air to her.
Yeah, I'm just like, the more I think about it, the more I'm just like,
she looks good in red. I'm just
yes, I'm just like,
saying it out loud.
She looks good.
Well, a lot of deep cuts. We'll get into more, and I've got one queued up before I forget. It kind of just you really got to listen to the other review shows to know about. I'm sorry, Mike's gone, but Kazi is one of these tracksuit clowns, and apparently he is the clown character that plays like a mime in the comics.
Oh, okay.
So, and he's the guy that she sparred with him for a hot minute more than the other guys, right?
Yeah,
right.
Well,
and he was the guy that when they were tracking, and she got away the first time, he was the one that ran up and pulled up his ski mask so you could see his face, and then put it down and then ran off. That was just for the audience, is why he lifted that up. And I was just like, that was for us, the audience. But yeah, you saw his face, so
yeah, I will be right back.
He might become the clown during this entire thing, because I almost feel like they're gonna spawn, because just like Batman, he created by being a Batman, it created more crazy
setting
people.
Up, a rogues gallery. Daredevil is going to be part of this. Kingpin's going to be part of this. Echo is going to be part of this.
It's just like, and then the other thing I wanted to mention is that first trick shot that she did when she thought in her ears, like, it's all about hitting the rope, not hitting the bell to make it work, and the fact that she was able to make technically a blind shot onto the rope with her homemade trick arrow. I'm like, all right, she is Hawkeye level.
Yeah, that was I liked that setup, because she hit the bell and it was almost like a practice shot with the tennis ball. This little thunk, and she knew she had to hit the string, so now she knows how to target the bell, and then they see her aim more upwards so that it gets that drop down trajectory.
Exactly. Making a blind shot. She's just
nailed it. Yeah, blind shot, right.
Just like Hawkeye does all the time. So it's just like, okay, she's got his skill level. So that's why it kept cracking me up. She kept asking about trick arrows.
Yeah, where are the
no,
trick arrows?
no trick arrows. And I wonder in what episode will he pull out the Hawkeye gear? Because so far it's just been, Kate Bishop and Clint Barton running around.
Yeah,
she has no superhero identity as of yet, whatever it might end up being from the comics,
Yeah, there's trailers out there where they're in a car chase and she gets to shoot some of his arrows and explode some stuff. Not too much trick to an explosion, but seems like there's definitely more to come.
Yeah, because I can't wait to see the two of them with trick arrows just going crazy at the end. Just because she even did that ricochet shot thing, so it's like it's gonna be mad crazy. I think in the final episode, it's just people are gonna be like, holy crap, I didn't think you could do that with an arrow. Ha! The things they're gonna do, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, so far okay. We got one episode down. I'm gonna queue up if anyone's just tuning in or scrubbing forward. This is where we're gonna talk about episode 2. It is called Hide and Seek. We get some different credits, right? So
it was shorter.
There's the Marvel intro, and I think they have Shang-Chi in there now. And then there's just a quick little bullseye with 2 arrows, one and a shorter one at representing both Hawkeyes, I think, in the beginning, and then at the end of episode 2, we get more credits that prelude possibly to the whole show, and we can, if we get to some of those, I don't know what to guess on there, but it is some images we can break down. What's up, Brett? Brett's here.
Hey, Brett.
And have there been any leaked cast lists for like the entire season or anything? Do we know if Katerina, what's her name?
Yelena?
Valentina. No, Valentina.
Oh, Valentina.
Is she going to show up sometime?
Oh.
Because if Shield's going to be, because so far, when Shield's involved in anything and all the, it's been her. We haven't been no Nick Fury. Hasn't been no, what's that? What's the other tall, dark-haired lady that took over when Nick was gone? It's been Valentina. Every time Shield, whatever, it's been Valentina. So I'm just wondering if she's going to show up here too.
Maybe that might be a bit much. I think Yelena would be the most we see, and it might even not even be during. There'll be an end credit thing for chasing down Hawkeye. Yeah.
Chasing down Hawkeye.
I'm thinking maybe at the very end. They're like the end credit scene for the last episode, maybe.
But wait a minute, didn't the Black Widow movie took place a while ago?
Yeah. This movie is
in the Marvel timeline, so it's just kind of like if she was going to do that, wouldn't it have already happened?
Probably. It was weird. It's weird to try and introduce something in the past. Like
I always hate when they do anything like we're going to put this movie, insert this in between. It's like stop it. But anyway, all right.
So I like the 2012.
Now that's actually a very good point. However, because when you see Yelena at Natasha's grave, they didn't specify when that was.
Yeah.
That could have been 5 years later.
Could have been after a couple of missions already with.
Because Valentina was introduced, with
because it's like her next mission.
The new Captain America, U.S. agent douchebag, and that's like present day. Vis-a-vis. So who knows? Who knows?
Because I'm always kind of like now I'm just thinking like maybe she's creating a counter team because it's going to be Avengers versus Dark Avengers. That's the only way she's going to be able to let Yelena, loose on Hawkeye.
Yeah.
So
they're setting up, team versus team. End of phase 4, I think, before we get maybe to a more cosmic thing. Let's look at the Dark Avengers or Thunderbolts, and then finally get to other stuff, Fantastic Four, etc.
X-Men.
So
I can't wait for that the most. That's that and the Big G.
That'll make the little boy and me super happy.
I was gonna say it, but we got some more. We got some more Hawkeye to cover on the groundwork. Let's cover some groundwork. Kate's apartment is above a pizza place, and the tracksuit mafia kind of tracks her down. They saw her take the dog there earlier, so they come in with the Molotov cocktails, and this place just looks like it's
so training ground. It was pretty cool. I thought.
Yeah. It's got some pizza furniture and whatnot. Here's I don't know if we got a Molotov cocktail scene, but yeah, here's the tracksuit bros throwing Molotov cocktails up there, stirring up trouble, trying to get her because she's got the suit or they don't have the watch, right? They were after the watch. So they're going to be questioning them later.
I just love how New York people are. The owner of the restaurant comes out and he starts yelling at these guys, "You're going to burn down the whole building." And they don't shoot him or anything. They start arguing with him. It's just like, okay, all right,
bro. Yeah. they're just having a firefight out there, and then they just, they leave the apartment. They can't get to the suit, so it sets up a little separation there, where Clint and Haley, or Clint and Kate and Pizza Dog hit the subway and go get some supplies. And it's not Avenger supplies. It's just going to the drugstore and getting some first aid, because he's not a superhero, and neither is she. No superpowers.
Right.
They can't just heal themselves. So I like the humanized element and they show it in the comics a lot too, with characters like Hawkeye and Batman, where they get bruises and bandages and scars.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they head to Aunt Moira's apartment with just to kind of set up a safe house and clean their wounds. Clint goes back for the suit, but even in his quick fireman disguise, do I have this on here? Let's get rid of that. Does not find the suit. It just is a MacGuffin to get us to the LARPer fair, I guess.
That cracked me up. It had no fire damage. The chair was black and it was sitting on, and everything else. It's like, it's cloth. It would have cut on. I guess it's maybe some sort of special.
The
cloth.
Sprinklers did go off when they were leaving, so I think they had a little help there.
Right, and then why wasn't the LARPer guy beaten down by the tracksuit people? It's like Clint should have arrived, and the tracksuit guy should have been there beating him down.
I think there's a deleted scene there that we need to see from Grills. So there's a guy in the comics that's named Grills that just grills on his balcony, and in the Hawkeye series. But
for real,
this guy the LARPer role.
Oh, okay.
And so he finds him on Google, and after sending his family, his kids were out there in New York, he sends them home to where the mother didn't come along, so they just send them home. And we get another call back to his hearing problems. There's some sign language from his boy, and another down to earth real no superhero power kind of like angle, where Hawkeye's around all these explosions.
Yeah.
So he is going to retire, and that makes sense why he was so uncomfortable at the play, seeing an image of him that might be the only image that people remember of Hawkeye. It's like, okay, it's all making sense now. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are making the series is to create a new Hawkeye.
Oh yeah, we're going Young Avengers. Yeah, that's why I keep saying, like, you guys want to see more Avengers. It's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be. And we did 10 years of Avengers.
Yeah,
it's not going to be the same. But So let's see what else happens here. The hearing aid, the explosions. There's some flashbacks and whatnot. They see those superheroes on Katniss Everdeen Hunger Games. Little
that cracked me up.
Funny. They trade phone numbers, and she does the call and gets his number. There was some nice.
That was like another Peter Parker moment when she's trying to reach Happy or trying to reach Tony through Happy.
I'll call you later. Don't call me. She goes up to her mom's security company office, and this is like the next day. Jack is there. They have a little, like stepdad argument moment, and trying to set him up. Like they're really setting him up to mislead us. I think that the mother is also involved.
Right. He's greasy. He's very greasy.
Twirling his mustache.
Pretty much. It's just kind of like that.
Clint anyway is on his way to the park for the LARPers, and has kind of a fun slow motion fight to get to the ninja guy. And I have not LARPed before, but I'm sure this is drawing in even more fandom nerddoms out there. They did this into an MCU movie or show, and they go right.
I love the fact that it was all the police and the fire, so that nobody could fuck with them. Because if they did, it'd be like, really? We could arrest you right here for saying anything,
Yeah.
like, oh, damn it. Can't make fun of these nerds.
Right. Yeah, these guys are just taking off some steam and really get delving into the story until midnight. So Clint can't wait. He suits up and gets a scroll of whatever his mission is, but he's just like, I'm gonna go fight this guy, and calls him out. I'm either gonna hit you with the pretend sword and pretend kill you, or hit you in the face for real.
I like that line.
And he's like, dude, let me kill you. You're a superhero. I'm a normal guy. So they do the whole trial by combat thing, which, yeah. I they did this whole LARPer thing, so I'm kind of glad they followed through with that, like, finishing. So they have a fake fight, and he wins the suit. Well, they basically just stop or whatever. I don't know. Like, he basically gives him the suit if he lets him kill him. So that eventually happens, and there's a little relationship there. Maybe that'll pay off later if we see Grills again and they meet some.
Right. Right, especially because he's, like I said, there was the police and the fire people. So later on, they will be like, "Hey, LARPer guy."
He'll be like, "Oh, we're at the fire. Oh, find Grills. Yep, let's get some help." So
they'll look the other way when they break the law later on.
The police are also calling Kate and asking her about this fire at her apartment, and she kind of sets up a meeting for later, thinking it was Clint calling her back. Another phone call. Clint calls home. They just talk about things as he's putting the suit in a very secure locker.
Oh yeah, and then that's setting up extra angst too, because I'm like, how is the daughter that feels neglected going to feel when she finds out that the father is running around with this other daughter figure, turning her into his successor instead of me. So
he wasn't looking for it, but it's definitely happening. So yeah, well, we'll see if that has more dark ties in his family. That'd be an interesting twist, because they create his family, I think, like you said earlier, Larry, for not in the comics, but
yeah, because I can see the daughter running away to join the father in New York, and she's got all Hawkeye's equipment. So unlike Kate Bishop, she'll be fully equipped if she decides to try to whatever. And of course, she'll get into trouble because she's a kid. But I was like, that's why I was like, 6 episodes. There's so much for this. There can't be 6 episodes. It's got to be more than 6 episodes.
So I know Stud City is in New York. He knows where the LARPers hang out. So the next scene we get is Kate and the mother and the Jack at the dinner, and they talk about fencings, and they're like, "Bring it on! Let's fence. Let's see what you got." So we see another tease of this guy being the swordsman by them actually sword fighting with the fencing attire, so it's safe. But they do it right in the foyer of this fancy house.
Yeah, I know, it's odd, but okay. I guess if you're rich.
And he's holding back, right? He's playing it down and letting her win, which I see that as a stepfather figure, like, oh, just, ting, 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 ting. Oh, you got me. Yeah, but he's lying about his skills. He's like, I don't have skills. And she, like, tries to cut his face for real, and he parries for real. And yeah, she just kind of has a little fit about it, like you were saying before, Doc. Not sure how to take it. I
think that scene's just kind of to set us up, to let us realize that she's hot-headed.
Yeah, she might.
You know what I mean? So that
she's impulsive.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, you set her up to be okay, and they're gonna use that against her, but Hawkeye as their mentor, she'll learn to calm, breathe.
Jack also says something about it's not the first time someone's tried to take his head off. Casually. Yeah. And we don't get any more about that, but we see a butterscotch, and that sets her off. So just because the guy has butterscotch from his uncle, you think he killed his uncle? I don't know. But,
Right. Well, I feel like that's what the director wants us to believe.
that's the direction.
Even though that's probably not the case. He'd be like, "Yo, I'm the one that bought the candy for the uncle, and I have extra."
They're leading us down that way for sure.
Yep.
Clint waits around and has the plan to just get taken by the tracksuit bros. So we're getting to the end scene where the tracksuit bros grab Clint, take him and tie him up, and he's just like trying to get to the who's your boss, because
you gotta talk to your manager.
You gotta cut the head off of the snake, right?
But I don't think we ever met the boss. I don't think that guy sitting on the chair was anything other than a same level manager as the guy he was talking to. You know?
No, yeah. Well, in another room is this character, and we know a show called Echo is coming out. So we're definitely pretty sure that this female character is another disabled character, deaf this time. So she's listening, feeling the music to listen to it, and having her own little moment here in this room. And she's just above the tracksuit bros trying to find this watch for somebody else. But she seems to be pulling the strings. At least I think in this series will be the most we see, maybe for the big bad, and setting up her own spin-off show.
Do you think, what, is she a supervillain?
Well, anti-hero might be, because she also has had relationships with Daredevil.
And you see that he's wearing a new suit
in the comics.
HAWKEYE
and so kind of like Elektra and all that, you know, more vigilante. What end?
Vigilante. Electra's a murderer.
And Larry might. I know he's got a source, so if Mike goes around, and I might be buying.
Does she have superpowers?
More comics on Tuesday from his Facebook page, because he does cover hot topics, and I'm sure there'll be some swordsman issues and some masked. Who's the mask? Madam Mask. And Echo. These are all new, pretty new to, you know, I collected comics back in the day, kind of came back, had a dark age, got some more. So I think I have HAWKEYE issues. I think I might have this artwork when Kate Bishop was introduced. I will have to dig in. Let's see here. So what else? So yeah, we're talking about Echo a little bit. We didn't. There's not much to discuss other than, you know, Kate calls his phone, triangulates and traces the phone to find him. She suits up, falls through the ceiling. Classic sidekick. You know, Robin. You know, Batman and Robin, like Robin falling through the ceiling. I was, oh man, I told you to stay home in the Batcave. Where's the slap? We need a slap meme of HAWKEYE versus HAWKEYE. But it's funny.
I don't know if you could make that meme of him slapping a girl. The outrage.
That's about it. She falls through this. Yeah, we see the Echo, where they don't name her yet, but we're pretty sure this is going to be Echo addressing them and asking them about where the suit is, where the sword is, or where the watch is, and maybe we'll get a little further on leads on what that watch is, who it's for, and why.
But does this Echo person have superpowers?
I believe
they just
deaf. You know, Larry, it's like
great kung fu skills.
I think it's more just like not enhanced, but very athletic, you know. And usually if you lose one sense, you gain a little bit more. I don't know on the level of Daredevil, where he had, like, you know, chemical enhancement or whatever with that accident to get his moves, but it is that street level.
Echo is a newer character than when I stopped reading, so I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm glad.
Let's hope it's not on that Ben Affleck level of, the rain and the everything sends off a sound wave, and he can interpret all that.
Yeah. We'll find out. We'll find out next week, Wednesday. They will drop a new episode 3. We'll discuss it more. We'll get some more action and more MCU tie-ins, which seem to be leading us towards bringing the Kingpin back and Daredevil back, that we know is happening.
Please.
And
bring Charlie Cox Daredevil in.
I
loved that show. I loved that show. It was a little bit of a different flavor for Daredevil, and I loved it because to me it really got more to the core of Daredevil than Ben Affleck did, because that was horrible. That was a dumpster fire. But that was one of the things I loved about Daredevil, is that he, like Hawkeye, and you were talking about this, getting bandaged up all the time. That aspect of always he'd get his ass kicked all the time, and he'd have to go home with broken ribs, and I mean that's the realism of getting into fights all the time as a superhero. You don't just magically heal. You don't have super soldier serum. You don't have gamma radiation. You don't have any of the other things. You're just a regular guy, and sometimes it hurts.
Yeah. Or you're a regular dog with one eye.
Or you're a regular dog with one eye. I want to know if it's a one-eyed dog actor or if they put makeup on a dog.
I just wonder if it's CGI'd after, so we don't have to mess with him.
Instead, I need to get my hands. One of my buddies in my lug, he's like, "Hey, if I end up buying the Daily Bugle, we'll make a deal and you can have the minifigs," because he doesn't want the minifigs. I'm like, that's all I want the set for.
Yeah,
I don't want the set. I want the minifigs. So, yeah, agreed. That and Punisher.
Yeah. So to bring it around to Lego.
Hey, why not have a Firestar?
Yeah, that was the missing piece. It's just kind of like, wow, okay. Half the Amazing Friends. Where's Iceman? That was the one that was missing.
We need Iceman.
Yeah.
Because
because Firestar is just, it's just like, okay. It's like,
we need a Kate Bishop, please. Lego, if you're out there watching, let's get a Kate Bishop Hawkeye minifigure out there.
Yes.
They did What If. They did basically all the Loki and stuff through that CMF line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I hope we don't have to wait for another CMF line like a year or more from now to get.
I don't think that'll happen. I mean,
Hawkeye.
If we're doing Muppets
Echo,
next, and then DC's probably going to come around. And
She-Hulk.
right, because they don't want to do too many licenses, because they got to have at least one regular, standard Lego CMF line. It's like, here they are, Flamingo Lady, and
because we don't have a
Beekeeper
yellow
guy
yet.
Exactly, and we don't have a yellow brick person.
If I have to, I will buy some customs. I've done it before. There are some great custom printing companies out there. I will remain nameless for now, but
and Hawkeye was wearing a different costume in that one picture you showed with Echo Lady. They were in the behind the scenes picture or whatever. So it's like he's gonna have a new costume for this. It kind of looks, it's more purple. It reminds me more of the comic book costume.
Yeah. So many characters.
Yeah, that Punisher fig will be rare. You mean like these?
Oh man, Deadpool flex.
Are those all from the same helicopter?
Those are all. Now I don't have the swords on the back of the one, but these are all legit Deadpools.
Legit Deadpool.
I got a fourth one around here someplace.
Yeah, I got him. I got mine.
Moto just gave me one. I traded him for some.
Because I had to have Magneto. I didn't care about Deadpool, and it wasn't until later that Deadpool became something.
You know what the hardest? I got a second Magneto, but he didn't have his purple gloves. Do you know how hard it is to find purple minifig hands? Purple.
The Flamingo Lady.
Yeah,
but I think if you look it up, the Wolverine from that set is actually more valuable than the Deadpool. Believe it or not. The last time I checked, it was more valuable.
Oh,
because it's the best one. Because the other Wolverines suck.
Oh,
yeah.
He came with a motorcycle.
Not much Lego news other than the Monkey Kid release recently. Doesn't really tie into superheroes, but a couple of those set looks pretty good.
Did Larry get his Domo yet, or whoever? One of you guys ordered a Domo?
I got a Domo right here.
Yeah.
So maybe some more Eternals building, or an Eternals like mock to go with this. All the characters finally.
I'm not gonna pressure you on that mock, Jesse, since you're under the weather.
Yeah.
I'll let you take the week off.
Yeah. Although, if you are tuning in, I will plug Iceberg Bricks. Sounds like we are going to do
Tuesday. We're head to head, aren't we?
What?
Tuesday we're head to head, aren't we?
Tuesday, yeah, we're versus 90-minute challenge, Thanksgiving Day special, because it is. We always do it late. And he used
is that the theme?
He put the turkey, Lego turkey from the Macy's Day Thanksgiving parade on the cover.
Did.
And it's after Thanksgiving, but that's all right.
Maybe he's going to have us make a float.
It could be that would be nice if it was not a turkey theme.
Seriously, that's really difficult. I saw Boone do his, and he came up with a turkey.
Yeah, we did that last year. Yeah. So, and props to Boone and the Beyond the Bricks people. They had a fantastic 24-hour live stream charity, and doubled their quota for hitting a goal of 12 and got up to $25,000 for Legos for kids.
That is incredible. Good job, guys. I was bummed I missed out. I just was too busy.
They did I got on before it got crazy. I was like in the first 2 hours, did a couple of little builds and did a little flex with the Spider-Verse lenticular, and got out of there before they were eating the hot chips and all that crazy stuff.
Yeah, they took the one chip challenge.
Yeah, they all did. Brian ate it, and April ate it, and Kirk ate what he was. And Kirk was sitting there like really trying not to drink the water for about 5 minutes or so.
We went half an hour before we drank or ate anything.
Wow.
And that was only because Ninja kept bothering me. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Fine, I will drink something so you can have a drink.
Right. Yeah, he was caving in. It helps. It helps when, or you push each other when you did that together. So props to you, Doc and Ninja, doing that one chip challenge. If you're out there looking for something to do some crazy stuff for a charity and shave your beards, I'm ready to shave this beard, by the way. It's just a Movember thing. I've been not shaving, so this is me after about a month of not cutting the facial hair. I'm ready for it to go.
A lot more white coming out than the last time you did that, I bet.
Yeah, it's like a lot of white beard here.
I actually shaved just down to this. I just got the little.
Yeah, I'm on board. Doc Samson's icon looks good, clean shaven with the green hair. So that would be funny down the road, though, to put some facial, like a goatee or something on Doc's.
He doesn't have much of an upper lip.
No.
So there is that difficulty, but
yeah.
It'd just be bushy on both sides, I guess, of his nose.
But you do get clever with the glasses and some of the costumes. So anything to plug for Doc Sampson's channel? You do anything interesting?
I try to do one video a week now. So, and then the next video is going to be on 3-in-1.
3-in-1 kits. Okay.
Yeah, because apparently people were telling me that I triggered some people with one of my other videos, but nobody comments. So I'm just like, if I triggered somebody, they weren't triggered enough to comment.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, check.
So I'm going to be on. So I'll be on the Versus show on Tuesday.
Okay. See you there.
Which is gonna be right up to Mike's
Oh yeah.
comic book thing. I may be late to that or not go to that because I actually traveled to his house
Yeah.
to do that.
He's got help with his family there a little bit.
Yeah, that's his shtick. Is he's got his
Yeah, I get it. Now that I see it, and I'm just used to it, and I just let it ride. Or
there is a little bit of being there in person. You're just like, but
usually,
I just sit back. I sit back because okay. So a little history, Doc. So my best friend since we were 15 years old. I'm not going to say how old I am now, but I'm just Jesse. It's been many moons, but so he and his wife started a little later than we did. My youngest kid is 16. His oldest kid is 11. So he's dealing with the little kid stuff now. I mean, my oldest kid is going to turn 22 this week. So it's just so funny. I just sit back and just laugh and just laugh at him, being the same age and going through having to raise little kids. And so he has both of his kids because his son is I think 7 or 8. I think 8. So he's got an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old helping him out with his
a fairly high end
Facebook auction.
I mean, it's mixed, but he has some comics worth 1,000.
I mean, I think
some are $3.
Yeah, he's got $3 comics and he's got $3,000 comics. So it's a good time. I mean, I love just looking at the books and all the variant covers that he gets a hold of, and it's pretty fun. And to just whatever the market's doing, because obviously this week, I'm going to be curious to see what kind of Hawkeye related stuff he's going to be putting up there, because that's going to be hot stuff that comics that were worth nothing a year ago, like not even cover price, are going to be going for stupid money.
Oh yeah, the Hawkeye miniseries.
Yeah, I'm gonna dig
the Hawkeye and Mockingbird series.
See if I have any of this artwork from the Kate Bishop line, and that'll be fun. So if you're looking for comics, find the Comic Consultant on Facebook, and Larry's kind of a co-host there, other than his kids. And like I said, we'll be on Iceberg Bricks doing a versus 90-minute challenge of some sort on Tuesday on YouTube.
I need to clean this shit up.
Go look for that. There might even be something you can put a reminder on. Until the next show, we will catch you guys later, bro.
See you, bro.
All right, bro.
Later, bro.